Hello, I am Chema Cabrero and I am in charge of the Military Vehicle Modeling Department. We are going to start a series of videos showing complete painting processes and effects using the Vallejo ranges. In today's video, we will show you some painting techniques on how to achieve metallic and wear effects, filters, and wet blending on areas of the model. To paint the tracks of the tank and the rubber rims on the wheels, we will use the references 71042 and 71315 included in the dedicated Vallejo set. When painting the tracks already mounted on the tank, we will use Vallejo masking tape to work more comfortably. We will use reference 71042 as a base coat with a pressure of 1.5 kilograms or 20 to 21 psi, since we will be working very close to the surface of the model. Adequate pressure allows us to work with precision even without the use of masks on some areas. It takes some practice to control the amount of paint according to the distance and the desired effect. Now we can evaluate the final result, touching up some areas with a brush using the same reference if necessary. We are now going to paint the rubber rims on the wheels using the reference Tire Black 71315 with a brush. Due to its smoothness and capillarity, we can use the model air references with a brush to paint small surfaces and details of the model. In some areas, we will apply several coats until the desired finish is achieved. We are going to replicate, on the tracks, the look of polished metal. For this, we will use the reference Dark Steel 73123 from the Vallejo range of pigments. Their quality and adherence offer a very realistic finish on the track links. We will use an old brush to apply the pigment in less accessible areas, in this case, on the teeth of the track links. We will continue using the model airbrush references, this time to represent the rusty appearance of the exhaust pipes. We start by applying a base color using a dark tone. We will create new rust effects using the lighter shades. The density of model air used with a brush allows us to create wet blends in a very simple way. We will again use several model air references on the spare track links on the front of the tank. To obtain a greater tonal variety, we will apply various shades of brown and sand. Such a finish will be more interesting than if only a single reference was to be used. We are now going to represent wear by applying mapping effects on the wooden boxes. We will create areas of weathered paint, avoiding unrealistic symmetries. We will proceed in the same way with the ammunition boxes. The different tones used provide an interesting finish due to their variety, although the final result must keep a certain balance in order not to create too much of a contrast. A trick to create such effects is to use lighter and darker tones than the base color, but within the same chromatic scale, unless we want to achieve a greater contrast. In this instance, we are going to use a lighter shade than the base shade. And now we use a darker color. We are now going to create new wear effects in the form of filters and blends using several references from the Model Wash range. The versatility of Model Wash allows for many variations in its use. We will use a brown filter to unify the irregular finish on the spare track links. In this way, the initial contrast is subdued, but the different tones are still visible. We will now apply a general filter to the entire hull of the tank. Unlike a wash, a filter or glaze completely covers a previous shade to slightly change its base tone. Due to its transparency, this filter allows us to create an initial effect of wear and dirt in the form of a patina or glaze without losing the original tones. In some areas, we can apply several coats to increase the effect. On some elements, we will apply a new reference to provide a contrast to the base tones, in this case, on the fuel tank. Its transparent properties allow us to represent new effects, such as rust, on the spare track links. A dark tone will create an effect of dirt and shadow without hiding the previous mapping work. We will remove any excess of the product, avoiding unwanted buildups. On the wheels, we will apply a general filter to represent the look of basic dirt. Model wash's capillarity makes it easier for us to work in this process. We can use model color references to create dirt and dust effects on the model by blending them with airbrush thinner. We must blend the brush strokes in a vertical direction. We can always correct or remove any excess using a clean brush moistened with airbrush thinner. This effect allows us to realistically represent dust and dirt washed away by humidity or rain. We will again use the blending technique to represent the dirt on the back of the tank. Finally, we can use Vallejo pigments diluted with airbrush thinner to create a subtle dusting effect in some areas, especially on horizontal surfaces. We will repeat the process more heavily around the turret ring. The finished model, at this stage,